It begins tonight in the lovely Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. And it begins in the Eastern Conference Round 1 at the Charlotte Coliseum between the Atlanta Hawks, seeded 5th, and the Charlotte Hornets, seeded 4th. Good evening, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Doc Rivers and Brian Burwell. Welcome to Charlotte. 16 teams begin the playoffs tonight. In the next 6 weeks, one of those 16 will win 15 games and capture the 1998 World Championship. We begin with two teams who know each other very well, separated by a long stretch of concrete and about a 3-hour drive. And this season, the Atlanta Hawks have owned the Charlotte Hornets. They have won all 4 games and done so convincingly. And Doc, you come into a best-of-5 series. How does that play out psychologically for both these teams?
Well, I think it plays out somewhat in the fact that Atlanta knows that they can win because they've done it 4 times this year. Charlotte believes that they can win, but they're not really for sure. But like Lenny Wilkins said, this is a new season. All bets are off now, and you have to come out and play. He has to get his team to understand just showing up does not ensure victory. They have to stay focused. And the guy who is key to that is Mookie Blaylock. I think the guard play, especially the point guard play, is vital in this series. And Mookie Blaylock dominated David Wesley in the regular season, holding them to 33% field goal percentage-wise, 27-4 rebound-wise. And if Wesley does not play well, I think you'll see B.J. Armstrong real early.
Well, as you begin the playoffs, you hope to have all of your roster, the guys on the roster, in a state of good health. That is not the case for Charlotte. Matt Geiger, hamstring, not suited up.
Yeah, I think that's a big loss for Charlotte. They need Matt Geiger to shoot jump shots, to take Mutombo away from the basket so he can't help as much. Now, Vlade Divac has to do that. Dave Collins told him he would love to do that. Said he would love to play against Mutombo, but he can't. So Vlade Divac must do that. If he plays well, they have a chance.
The Atlanta Hawks finished the regular season strong. The Charlotte Hornets did, but they slumped a little bit in the early part of April. And when you're in a slump, you go for whatever will work. In this case, it was to go bald early. Every one of the Charlotte Hornets has shaved their heads. We'll go back to Atlanta and Ernie Johnson after this. Welcome back to the NBA playoffs, and now it's time to look at tonight's Gatorade starting lineups for the Atlanta Hawks. Steve Smith, Mookie Blaylock in the backcourt, Alan Henderson, Mutombo, and Tyrone Corbin up front. And for the Charlotte Hornets, David Wesley, Bobby Phills in the backcourt, Anthony Mason, Vlade Divac, and Glenn Rice up front. Let's check in now with Brian Burwell.
Thank you, Vern. Now, the Charlotte Hornets, to a man, understand the importance of trying to reestablish that overwhelming home court advantage they have enjoyed against everybody in the NBA but the Atlanta Hawks. Now, it is more than numbers, although those numbers are overwhelming when you consider that 84% of the teams that win Game 1 end up winning this series. For them, it's about repairing their damaged psyche. David Wesley told me yesterday they have to win Game 1 to prove to themselves that the Atlanta Hawks don't have their number. Now, one of the things you're going to see differently is a change in defensive strategy among the backcourt. Watch for a far more physical defensive strategy by the Hornet guards. And by the way, that overwhelming home court advantage, this is not a sellout tonight. Can you believe that, Vern?
That's right, Brian. This team had a streak of 364 sellouts that ended back in November, and they've only sold out 23 times in 41 home games this year.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, Vern.
What do you think about the critical nature of this first game?
Well, I think it's important, but I don't like when players say we have to win Game 1, because what if they lose? Does that mean they're not going to play anymore the rest of the series? No, I think this game is important for both teams, but if you do lose Game 1, you can still win this series.
Lenny Wilkins, Dave Cowens. Dave, of course, completing his 2nd year as the head coach here in Charlotte. And Lenny Wilkins in his 5th season in Atlanta. And we hasten to add that the problem with the camera behind the backboard is not a TBS camera.
No way. We take no blame.
So we get one of those anticlimactic starts to this series. Matt Geiger injured a hamstring 5 games before the end of the regular season. Dave Cowens said this morning when we chatted with him, I am very, very disappointed that he's not going to be able to play.
Yeah, you know, Dave Cowens would play on one leg, and obviously Matt Geiger is hurt. But Dave Cowens is the type of guy that would try it anyway. And quite honestly, I think that bothers Cowens a little bit.
I don't want to read too much into the way he said he was very, very disappointed.
Exactly.
But you can read a lot into it.
Yeah.
Well, we've got camera problems at both ends. Matt Geiger, who had a terrific season.
He really did.
1998. Boy. He got a chance when Vlade Divac was out for 6 weeks with an injury, and Geiger really enhanced his value. He will be a free agent this summer. Now Mookie Blaylock. David Wesley picks him up. Blaylock has owned Wesley in the 4 regular season games, Doc said. Bills. Here's Henderson. Blaylock with the jumper. First basket goes to Atlanta.
And that's smart. Right away, Lenny Wilkens understands that Wesley is struggling against Blaylock. That first play was for Mookie Blaylock.
And Blaylock, who leads the league in steals, gets his first of the game off of Wesley. Blaylock goes for Steve Smith. Wasn't ready, but Mutombo saves it. Comes back outside. Smith guarded by Divac. Leaves Glenn Rice on Mutombo for the moment. Illegal defense is called against Charlotte. Go back and take a look at that first play to Mookie Blaylock.
Yeah, you'll see Mookie Blaylock coming off the curl down low, getting his shot. Now, this was just for him. They wanted him to score early to send a small message that Mookie is going nowhere.
Alan Henderson comes right. Started the last 33 regular season games and excelled. Here's Smith with the jumper, in and out, rebound. Anthony Mason. Wesley hurries it, kicks it out left side to Divac, who drives hard on Mutombo. Well, Dave Cowens is going to like that.
Yeah, he is, and that's one of the things they said you have to go at Mutombo. You have to go at a shot blocker. I think that's a smart strategy. They would love to get a couple early fouls on Mutombo.
Blaylock, they're fronting Henderson in the post. Mason guarding him. Henderson comes out to set the pick. Pass a little off target. Shot is up and no good. Divac at the other end. Mason was down, but Tyrone Corbin got back.
Yeah, it was good thought. It was just a bad pass because Mason was open.
Now Mutombo posting up Vlade Divac. Outside it goes to Corbin for 3. Long rebound, tracked down by Bobby Phills. 2-2 ball game.
So far, Charlotte's playing with a lot of energy, and you expect that in game 1. The problem is they don't sustain it, and they have to tonight.
Glenn Rice led it up for 30 in the last game these two teams played. It was an overwhelming triumph for Atlanta, as they all were in the regular season, but he gets it first basket here.
But even him, he has struggled against the Hawks. He's averaging 20 points, but he's only shooting 40%.
Smith, 2. Now David Wesley. In his first season with Charlotte, he and Bobby Phills at the guards. He drives and is knocked down.
Now look at this pick here. First, Mason sets the pick. And that'll get you open on Divac. And all he needs is a second to make the shot. And he can make it.
Some of you may have seen the players and front office poll in USA Today this morning. I thought it was interesting. And Glenn Rice was chosen as the best pure shooter in the league.
Yeah, quickest release. I think the players and the GMs know what they're talking about, except for one thing. 8 guys picked Van Horn over Tim Duncan. I want to meet those 8 people.
That's his rookie of the year.
Oh, my.
Here's
I think
Wesley.
they're on the Nets.
Wesley rattles the second one home. And it's a 6-4 Charlotte lead, 9:30 to go in the first quarter of play. Blaylock and Wesley. Corbin with the jumper. Loose ball picked up by Divac. Here's Wesley. Charlotte will force it. Charlotte won the last day of regular season against Orlando to secure the home court advantage in this series. These two teams wound up only a game apart. Alan Henderson. Divac guards it. Blaylock off the dribble. Nice pass.
Oh, man. But
Mutombo.
again, set up by the pick and roll. He didn't use it, but that's something Charlotte's been thinking about all week, is how to solve the pick and roll. They said every time Mookie does it, either someone gets a dunk or he gets a 3-pointer. That time it was a dunk.
Bobby Phills, left side. Entry pass, Glenn Rice. Adjustment in midair, rebound Mutombo.
Terrific defense from Tyrone Corbin.
And here's Corbin at the offensive end. Spin move. Loose ball foul.
We watch Mookie on this. He acts like he's going to use the pick and doesn't. By his dribble penetration, Mason helps. Mutombo gets the dunk.
Atlanta with the inbounds play. Here's Henderson back to Corbin and Steve Smith. Overfills, 2 more.
Well, the 2 areas concerned already are starting to come to fruition for Dave Collins. He said 1, pick and roll, 2, Steve Smith on the post. Both have been effective already for Atlanta.
Bills goes left side for Rice. Rice with another quick jumper.
And it's funny, when we talked to Lenny Wilkins, his only concern was Glenn Rice.
We will not leave Glenn Rice.
Smart.
Tied at 8, 7:45 to go in the first quarter of play. Smith off the pick and roll. The screen provided by Mutombo, and Steve Smith has 6.
Boy, he's stroking it already. He's one of those guys that is usually pretty steady, and every once in a while, great. And right now, it looks like he's on that pace.
Mutombo off the Wesley miss. Here's Blaylock. Phils has him. Pass to Corbin. The putback is good from Alan Henderson. A 12-8 lead. Crowd getting restless.
And I think Dave Collins is getting restless also. He wants to keep this game close. But again, Steve Smith, this is not an easy shot, Vern, but it's good. Domination in the Hornets' eyes mean the Atlanta guards, Mookie Blaylock and Steve Smith. Mookie Blaylock has always been good defensively, but he's been great against the Hornets on the offensive end. Steve Smith, the all-star this year's post-game, has been close to unstoppable. And Rick Hasner from 3 has been said way too much. Look at their percentages. Charlotte must answer this challenge.
Those percentages from 3-point range are just astounding.
Unbelievable, especially Rick Hasner. I mean, it's shocking.
Anthony Mason puts it in the hands of David Wesley. It's a 12-8 game, 7:10 to go, first quarter. Pick and roll, Anthony Mason. Here's Wesley, open for the jumper, no. And Steve Smith clears the rebound for Atlanta.
Well, you know, David Wesley is a fine jump shooter, but Dave Collins says we need him to attack the basket. When he drives, everyone else gets open shots. Oh, boy. I'm telling you.
Steve Smith for 3.
You can see it, and you don't know if it'll last for a quarter or for a game. If it lasts for the game, it's nothing Charlotte can do to stop him.
This is an 11-2 Atlanta run. They are up by 7. Mason, double team comes from Blaylock. Into the hands of Bobby Phil. Steal. Blaylock puts it to Steve Smith. And Smith is fouled by Wesley.
Good foul by Wesley, staying in the play, making Steve Smith go to the foul line.
During the timeout, here's a small piece of irony that New York Knicks fans can appreciate. Bob Delaney is one of the officials tonight. He came over and explained to us that the reason they delayed the start of the game is that there was black tape on the cameras that prohibited them from seeing the red lights. He said we didn't want to begin a game when we couldn't see the red lights.
Or in a game.
Bob Delaney, who of course made the critical call in the last 0.2 of a second, the New York Knicks Miami game that was ruled ultimately a 2-point Miami win. 1 point. Brian Burwell.
Yeah, Vern, during that last timeout, Dave Collins chastised his guards. He says, look, I don't care how you do it. You fight through those picks. You get over top of them. They're killing us. Back to you.
Well, he's right. I'll tell you that. Dave Collins knows what he's talking about.
Phil's in the post-up with Smith. Vlade Divac passes on the shot. Mutombo out. Now Divac comes out and brings Mutombo with him. Wesley penetrates. Bobby Phil, shot clock at 1. Rebound, Mutombo.
Well, I tell you what, right now, Atlanta on defense is great. They have about 8 deflections already.
Corbin flies at the basket, adjusted the shot when Wesley got there and missed it.
Oh, my.
Oh, Mookie Blaylock with another steal. Back-to-back steals leaders last year and this. He averaged 2.61 per game. And the crowd's getting a little rowdy. Restless, rather, not rowdy. Here's Phil's. Blocked by Mutombo. Steve Smith That's 2 blocks from Mutombo.
And you can see Henderson the whole way. The whole way you can see that play developing. Wow. This is just what Charlotte did not need.
A 14-2 run. 22nd timeout called by the Charlotte Hornets.
I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, first you look at Mookie Blaylock. I mean, this is great anticipation, just getting his hands on the ball. And then the big factor, Mookie out high, Mutombo down low. My, they're everywhere.
Mutombo's second in the NBA this season in blocks per game. Marcus Camby of Toronto edged him out, but he had the lead in the number, 277.
The swagger that Atlanta is walking around with is amazing. It reminds you of when Chicago plays everybody. They have that swagger against everyone. Atlanta has it against Charlotte, and the only way they can stop it is by beating Atlanta. So it's an interesting game so far.
Mason will throw it in. Now David Wesley, D-Bot's out high. Mutombo drifts back. Wesley goes baseline, takes the jumper, and gets it.
Always nice when you come out of a timeout and your play works.
Now Blaylock. Mutombo getting ready to set the screen. And Blaylock keeps his dribble alive.
Yeah, he'll keep it alive all day.
And cans a 3.
Oh, my. And Dave Collins said the thing with Blaylock, he'll run 2 and 3 pick and rolls on one play because he keeps his dribble. Now he's making threes.
Well, you have seen Blaylock and Smith both can threes. Between the two of them, they hit 21 of 37 in the 4 games between these two teams in regular season. At the other end, Glenn Rice gets a 3.
See, I think he's feeling it, and I think they have to do a better job of recognizing that right now and go to Glenn Rice. Every time you're struggling offensively, you should go to your go-to guys. Glenn Rice is that.
Now Blaylock, here's Steve Smith. Henderson calls for it, comes out and sets the pick for Steve Smith. Pick and roll. Henderson in the lane, travels. Nope. Offensive foul. First foul on Henderson.
I mean, look at Mookie Blaylock here. Dribbles, goes back around and passes it, and then sets up and gets the 3 from the pass back from Corbin. Patient.
4 minutes to go, opening quarter. Game 1 of the 1998 NBA playoffs. A doubleheader tonight, of course, on TBS and over on our sister network, TNT. Corbin with a foul.
And this is what Dave Collins was talking about, Vernon. You have to fight through picks. Watch him here. Well, Bobby Fields played in Cleveland, so he knows how to fight through a pick. We didn't see it yet. Tyrone Corbin is asking me if he touched him on that last foul, and I said I didn't see it. Did you, Vern?
You dodged.
Yes.
You didn't give him an answer.
I couldn't give him an answer.
Glenn Rice. Leads at 7. 3:52 to go, first quarter. Now Blaylock. Here's Smith. Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable.
My. And you know it's a tough shot when you see the defender act like, wow. And that's what Bobby Fields did.
3 of 4 from three-point range for Atlanta in the early going. Second for Steve Smith. A 10-point lead. Underneath the Mason, who shoves Blaylock. Blaylock saves it.
Another deflection and another steal. And Mookie Blaylock is involved in most of it.
Steve Smith with 13 points already. Takes another one.
He shot that because he was feeling it.
Henderson is there for the putback. And Mutombo gets the second chance.
Wow, domination early. And Vern, I said that you can see it in Steve Smith's eyes. But right now, you can see it in everyone in Atlanta's eyes.
Charlotte thought they might have righted the ship, though they lost twice to Atlanta in the last 2 weeks. And decisively, but they did win 4 of their last 5. Now D-Bots gets one.
Yeah, but their last 2 losses of the season were against Atlanta.
And they were ugly.
They were bad losses.
121-104 in Atlanta. Here's Mutombo. Shot clock at 5. Blaylock. That's a hustle rebound.
A hustle rebound. Great hands again. And bang.
Smith. Third three of the first quarter. A 13-point lead.
Exactly what Lenny Wilkins wanted. I'll tell you one bad thing about this. Charlotte now has to answer this. And if they can get back in this game and close the lead, they have a chance of winning this game.
Mason takes it strong. There's Mutombo.
Yeah, that's a good
goaltending.
Call. That's a good call. It hit the backboard first.
Bob Delaney makes the call. Anthony Mason gets 2. Time called. Back in Steve Smith. A rare miss for Smith. 1:31 to go in the first quarter of play.
He has to keep shooting the ball. He's filling it. Shoot it until you're not.
Divac, and again, a reminder that Geiger's on the bench. Hamstring. Went through a walkthrough. Here's Bobby Phills for 3.
See, though Atlanta made this early run, you can see Charlotte fighting back. And to be quite honest, this is not a trade of the Charlotte Hornets. They're not a comeback team.
Now the crowd tries to help. It's been a fickle crowd.
How about that? Being booed and cheered in one quarter already. We're in Madison Square Garden.
Now time has been called. 57.9 to go, first quarter of play.
They really shot the ball incredibly well, you know, even better than their season averages. And, you know, we don't expect them to shoot the ball that well again, you know, in the next game, but the things that we're going to do different is just be more aggressive, stay on their hips, stay close, be more physical. You know, they've really done a lot of what they wanted to, and we need to take some of that away.
Well, they haven't been able to take much of it away so far.
They are being more physical. The problem is it's not affecting the Atlanta guards. The Atlanta guards are very physical. Steve Smith used to be a guy that you can bump and get to. Well, no longer. He will take the punishment. And I think that all comes from Lenny Wilkins. People forget the type of basketball player that Lenny Wilkins was when he played. They look at him as a coach and think he's calm. He might be calm, but he was a tough player when he played.
David Wesley sits out the final minute for Charlotte. Del Curry comes on the floor. He and Phil's at the guard spots now.
Well, this is a change here. Using Bobby Phills as your point guard, he wants more size. He needs Del Curry shooting. Though they're shooting 62%.
That ball kicked. And that'll be a fresh 24 for the Atlanta Hawks. 39.5 remaining in the first quarter of play. Yeah, you shoot 62%, you trail by 8.
Yeah, that's due to Atlanta's defense causing turnovers. They don't get enough shots at the bucket.
Christian Laettner also off the bench now for the Hawks, replacing Alan Henderson. Here's Blaylock. The switch with Mason on him. Blaylock short into the hands of Del Curry. Atlanta has a foul to give. Here's Bobby Phills, guarded by Blaylock. Kicks it out to Divac, top of the key, in and out. Bobby Phills with the rebound. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. 5. Big basket.
That is a big basket.
They trail by 13. They've cut the margin to 6. A 7-0 run in the last 2:54. But Steve Smith did have a huge quarter for Atlanta. 16 points, 3 3-pointers. 3 to go. Hawks by 6. Welcome back to the Charlotte Coliseum. Opening night of the NBA playoffs in the 1998 season. Pacers, Spurs, and Nets are back in the playoffs this year. I think it's interesting that only 11 rookies are on the playoff rosters, and John Calipari, Larry Bird, and Greg Popovich in the playoffs for the first time as coaches.
Yeah, and I think Larry Bird might be the coach of the year. which is pretty interesting as a rookie coach.
Now Anthony Mason brings it up for Charlotte. Del Curry stays on the floor with Bobby Phills. Here's Glenn Rice. Loose ball picked up by Mutombo second time around. Here's Blaylock.
Boy, Dave Cowens is steaming right now because he wanted a foul on Mutombo and didn't get it. And then no one picked up Mookie Blaylock. Now, when you have two guards in at the point, I don't think they discussed who was guarding Mookie.
Another three for Atlanta from the guards. Blaylock with his second three tonight. Mason.
Oh, my. Oh, that's what they have to do.
At the other end, here's Del Curry on Blaylock. Leitner with the screen. Blaylock goes right, penetrates, wide open.
Oh, my. He's just playing with the ball and playing with the pick.
4 of 5 from the field for Mookie Blaylock. Glenn Rice. Smith guards him. Devot sets it. Rice baseline.
I really like what Charlotte is doing. They're making Mutombo's guys set to pick and roll, taking Mutombo away from the basket.
Now here's Steve Smith. Curry has switched over on him. Phills has Blaylock. And Chucky Brown off the bench. Leitner with the offensive board is fouled and will go to the free throw line.
And Vern, take a look at this pick and roll. Look at Mutombo. He's way out by the three-point line. He can't get back in time. That's smart basketball from Charlotte. And then Mason. Dave Cowens said you can't shoot over him. You have to shoot it through him. And that's what he did.
Christian Leitner gets the first of his free throws. Shoots one more. Leitner gets 2. The lead is 8 as we play in the second quarter from Charlotte. Anthony Mason, Vlade Divac, Bobby Phills, Del Curry, and Glenn Rice on the floor for Charlotte. Leitner, Chucky Brown join Mutombo, Steve Smith, and Mookie Blaylock for Atlanta. Rice.
Off balance after a pump fake, and he's strong enough to make the shot.
5 of 6 from the field for Glenn Rice. He's got 14 points, 12 points.
He's playing well. I think Charlotte's offensively, they're playing well. They have to take care of the ball, and they have to solve the pick and roll.
Curry guards Smith. Leitner guarded by Mason. Nice soft shot. The jumper's good.
Boy, I told you this morning, I think Christian Leitner's going to have a big series.
Yes, you did. Now Leitner throws an elbow. He and Mason join the battle. That's underneath. And here's Smith. Blaylock all the way, reverse beauty.
Oh, boy. And not only are they turning them over, they're letting them score after the turnover.
7 turnovers for Charlotte, only 1 for Atlanta. That one's knocked out of bounds. Now Glenn Rice's offense has helped, however, keep Charlotte within hailing distance. 40-29.
The NBA.
Under 10 to go in the first half of play. Both Lenny Wilkins and Dave Cowens have gone to their respective benches. Leitner, Brown, and Ricasner on the floor now for Atlanta. Matt Geiger not suited up tonight. Hamstring pull, right leg. Del Curry, B.J. Armstrong.
Well, you got 2 guys with championship experience in Chucky Brown and B.J. Armstrong, so that's why they're in the lineup. Atlanta's bench, before the season started, people said they had a weak bench, and they really did for most of the season. But now, putting Christian Leitner on the bench, I think, was a great move. I don't know if it was a mistake move or not, but it worked, and Leitner accepted it.
Leitner picks up Mason, 40-29. Del Curry stays on the floor with B.J. Armstrong at the guards. Curry misses. Talked about that players poll in the paper today, which had Glenn Rice as the best shooter in the league. Del Curry was voted second.
Yeah, that tells you about Charlotte's shooting.
There's Chucky Brown. Eldridge for Kasner. Chucky Brown travels. Wow. Second turnover of the game for the Atlanta Hawks. And a technical foul.
That is not a smart play. And Lenny Wilkins is not looking at the officials. He's looking at Chucky Brown. That is not a smart play, and that's a surprising thing from Chucky Brown. You're leading by 11 in Charlotte. You just come off the bench. You do not need to get a technical foul. And he knows it, so he's down talking to the official right now.
Now Bob Delaney explains why the call was made. And after the free throw from Glenn Rice, the lead cut to 10. And Buddy Divac throws it in the hands of B.J. Armstrong. B.J. acquired early season trade from Golden State and didn't play much until the last couple of weeks.
I think Dave Cowens knew what he could do and wanted to use him in the playoffs. I was surprised he didn't play more in the regular season.
Anthony Mason off the glass.
I was talking about this morning. I think Anthony Mason can do that against anybody. He is so strong. He just likes passing more than he likes shooting. I think in this series, he's going to have to become a scorer for them to win.
Mason guards Leitner. Glenn Rice knocks it out of bounds. 10 on the shot clock.
It looks like right now, Charlotte is on the ropes and just hanging in, waiting for Atlanta to run out of gas. I think they're doing a nice job staying in this game.
Steve Smith in and out. Offensive board, Mutombo. Back to Leitner. Del Curry guarding Leitner. Here's Ricasner. Jumper, good.
I mean, he shot 67%, so every time he shoots, you think he's going in.
Margin back to 10, 7:40 to go in the first half of play. Foul called on Leitner.
Yeah, Anthony Mason and Christian Leitner have a running dialogue, and it's been going on for about 3 games. There's no coincidence that Dave Cowens is going to Mason right now with Leitner guarding.
Mookie Blaylock back on the floor with Ricasner at guards now. Illegal defense called against Atlanta. That's the first against the Hawks tonight. Jack Nees made that call. Well, not a surprise. Look at the backcourt scoring so far.
Well, you knew that the Atlanta guards would probably score more. What we didn't know was how bad it would be. And it's bad right now. And another illegal defense from Atlanta. And that's all from Glenn Rice. All he's doing is isoing, and he gets the attention of the entire Atlanta team. Lenny said he will not be left alone.
That sends Del Curry to the free throw line for the technical, and it cuts the margin to 9 now, 42-33, 7:29. The last Charlotte lead early in the game at 6-4. Largest lead for Atlanta was 13. Here's Glenn Rice, guarded by Chucky Brown, who's in his face, but Rice cans it for 2.
The players are right. He can really shoot the basketball.
6 of 7 tonight for Glenn Rice.
Take a look at here. Watch Glenn Rice, what he does. He will create his own space with his swing of the ball and that step back. But that's still a tough shot. I thought Chucky Brown played nice defense.
Last foul on B.J. Armstrong. Here's Ricasner, guarded by Curry, gets him off the dribble, makes the adjustment, and gets it in the hands of Leitner. Nice little scoop shot. I tell you, Ricasner has really come on to help this Atlanta team.
Well, I think what Lenny Wilkins has done is smart. He's using him more as a shooting guard. And right now you have him and Mookie Blaylock. Ricasner is a scorer. He's not a true point guard.
In and out for Divac.
That's the second miss, and that's where they miss Geiger.
And if you joined us late, Matt Geiger in civvies tonight, injured hamstring, didn't practice this week, did go through a walkthrough a couple of hours before the game, and an offensive foul called.
Boy, that was an elbow, and it was inadvertent from Mutombo.
So Mutombo's turn to argue, this time with David Jones.
And here the pass from Ricasner. Right now, Atlanta's getting every shot that they want, and that's why they're up by 9.
Playoffs begin tonight. Cavs and Pacers getting ready to tip on TNT, and then our second game on TBS tonight. The Houston Rockets in Salt Lake City to take on the Jazz. And the second game over on TNT, the Spurs and the Suns game 1. The elbow from Mutombo.
Yeah, I think I'm going to change my mind from inadvertent to on purpose because that looked like he tried to do it.
Yeah, that's an advertent elbow. So a little repair job for Anthony Mason. I guess this is when the decision to shave the heads comes in handy.
Yeah, that's true. Makes it a lot easier for the trainers.
B.J. Armstrong, Del Curry in the backcourt. J.R. Reed, who is hardly recognizable with the bald head.
Yeah, I agree.
Is on the floor.
It suits him.
What'd you tell him before the game?
He's never looked better.
Chucky Brown picks up this foul. Vlade Divac's getting a rest. He won't get much rest tonight.
No, unless J.R. Reed can do something. But right now with Mutombo on the bench, Charlotte can go smaller. Now that's the third foul in a row away from the basket. And what that tells you is that the playoffs has begun. Guys are starting to not like each other already.
Reed, Rice, Del Curry. Here's Anthony Mason. Backs in on Allen Henderson. Short with a shot, Henderson with a rebound.
But he got right there, and I think he can do that all night, and he has to do it.
Blaylock at the other end goes right by Curry and picks up a foul under the basket.
Mookie Blaylock right now is getting every shot he wants. If he wants a three, he can get it. If he wants to go to the basket, he can get it.
Interesting talking with Lenny Wilkins this morning about the Blaylock change in the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, what he wanted him to do is become more vocal, more of a leader, and that's exactly what he started to do. He said they have to respect him because he plays harder than anyone else. I think that's what Lenny's doing. I think he first started with Steve Smith. Steve Smith was a guy that you could get to a little bit. Lenny Wilkins worked with him. Now you can't. You can't get to him mentally or physically. His next project was Mookie Blaylock. That's worked. And now he's working on Mutombo to become a little bit more physical.
Allen Henderson not only missed the layup and was exasperated by that, but now misses the first of his 2 free throws. Mutombo rests.
Yeah, you know what that means for Charlotte.
Yep.
Attack the basket.
I think so.
No shot blockers.
Bobby Phills now gives Glenn Rice a breather.
You know, we talk about no shot blockers, and we really don't bring it up a lot. I think one of the problems with Charlotte's defense, and the reason why Atlanta attacks their defense, is because they don't have a shot blocker. Even when Geiger or even when Vlade Divac is in, they still don't have any guys who can block shots. And they're 27th in the league in block shots.
David Wesley back on the floor after an extended rest. And here's Wesley picked up by Blaylock, so they renew their battle. Nice strong penetration, but then the pass a little errant.
Hands.
Yep.
Atlanta's hands are everywhere, and Mookie Blaylock is usually involved.
Rick Kasner now at the off guard. Nice penetration.
See, Atlanta doesn't change. They attack the basket because they know no one can block their shots.
Back to a 12-point margin, the largest lead in the game, 13. Back in the first quarter. Here's Del Curry, and the hands are there again. Anthony Mason picked up now by Allen Henderson. Backs in on him, and then takes the fall away.
He makes it look quite easy.
4 of 5 for Mason. Blaylock. Allen Henderson with the pick. The switch from Mason. Back to Blaylock. Back to Henderson, a mismatch.
But that was all caused by Mookie Blaylock in the pick and roll. He forced the switch. Henderson gets an easy shot.
Wesley and Reed and Del Curry with that patented quick shot, but Leitner is there for the rebound.
Now your points are supposed to go down in the playoffs.
Rick Kasner for 3, no. Allen Henderson gets the board. The putback altered by Mason, a foul called on Atlanta.
And with 4:20 left, Atlanta has 49 points already.
Chucky Brown picked up the foul.
Or everybody's in the act. The thing that would alarm me if I'm Dave Cowens is they're getting to the paint with no one following them or no one stepping up. There has been no help defense from Charlotte. And that's one thing that Dave Cowens talked to us this morning about. We have to help each other out a little bit better, where they didn't get the message so far.
Vlade Divac's back on the floor now. The lead is 12, 4-12 to go. Here's Divac.
I think he's really played well. He's done exactly what they've asked him to do, and that is to attack the basket, and he's done it every single time.
Now Blaylock and Wesley. Back to Leitner. Nice play.
Mookie Blaylock, though, is dominating this game. And again, that play, pick and roll, it was set up from Leitner gets the basket. Once again, pick and roll. Mookie Blaylock drives, dishes, three-point play opportunity. I would say right now about 80% of the Hawks' points have come off the pick and roll play set up by Mookie Blaylock.
Leitner got the free throw. As you look at the replay, it's back to a 51-39 edge now. 3:45 to go first half. Wesley looks for Del Curry. Underneath to Divac, who was fouled as he throws it up. And Vlade Divac will go to the line.
Well, my high school coach used to say, if one team does something, you should do that back on them. Because if it's working in practice for them, they can't guard it either. And so far, Charlotte 3 times in a row have scored on the pick and roll also. Maybe they should stay with that play.
Well, Steve Smith and Mookie Blaylock have really excelled in this 4-game series.
Yeah, and Steve Smith has done it with his scoring, but Mookie has done it all around. And his assist numbers are kind of misleading because he might not get the assist, but he led to the assist from what he's doing. He's getting his hands, he's scoring, he's doing it all.
Atlanta guards with 32 so far tonight. Smith had 16 in the first quarter. 10 drives, 6 jumpers, and 3 3-point attempts, 2 for Smith. Blaylock. Dave Cowens is the one who brought it up with us this morning. The rebounding edge with Wesley and Mookie Blaylock, 27-4.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing that a guard, a point guard who is playing defense all game can get 27 rebounds in 4 games. Well, I think that's the secret of Atlanta. Steve Smith is a strong rebounder also, along with Mookie Blaylock. And here he goes again.
And there's Henderson, offensive.
Yep.
After a couple of anemic free throws from Vlade Divac. But the offensive foul. And Mutombo is back for Atlanta.
Yeah, Lenny Wilkins is looking at that clock thinking, we have a 12-point lead. I want to keep that going. I don't want them to cut into it. That's why Mutombo's back in the game.
Only 4 Atlanta turnovers and 3 of them on offensive fouls tonight. Divac loses control on the dribble. It's kicked outside. And Del Curry cans it for 3.
And that's a tough shot because it wasn't a good pass. He had to reach to catch the ball, and he was still good enough to shoot it.
A little pressure applied by Charlotte. Smith gets it back in the hands of Mookie Blaylock. J.R. Reed chases him. Blaylock says, okay, I'll take the 3. Gets in the corner. And Leitner picks up the foul. Second foul on Christian Leitner. Time called, 2:45 to go before the break.
Playoffs on TBS, brought to you by Isuzu, builders of the completely reinvented 1998 Isuzu Rodeo. Isuzu, go farther. And by the Home Depot, America's home improvement coach.
NBA playoffs continue. The second game of our doubleheader tonight on TBS. The Houston Rockets and the Utah Jazz renew their storied rivalry. Last year it was John Stockton's jumper in Game 6 that sent the Utah Jazz into the NBA Finals. Tonight, Barkley and Malone renew the battle.
Yeah,
game time decision on Barkley.
Yeah, it'd be interesting what happens there. I really don't think Houston has a chance in this series for the simple fact that they don't play defense like they used to. They're giving up over 100 points a game.
They have a little age on that team.
Yeah, they do. And I think sometimes they try to save it by saving guys, but I think it's backfired because their defense right now is bad. And if they can come on and play defense, they have a shot. The key there is Hakeem Olajuwon if he's healthy.
J.R. Reed with a second free throw, second stint with the Charlotte Hornets. He played last year in France. coming back to the NBA, started his career here as the number 5 pick in the draft. 51-44, down to 7. Oh, Leitner, my goodness.
He dribbled from half court all the way to the basket without one guy stepping in his way.
Wesley, Divac, Blaylock guards Wesley. Divac sets the pick. That brings Mutombo out. Curry penetrates, kicks it right side. And Wesley with the 3.
Big shot. You know, Charlotte's offense is working, and right now it's their defense.
Well, they've cut the margin again to a 6-point deficit. Just a moment ago, they were down by 12. Here's Leitner for 3. Nope. Mutombo over Divac for the rebound. Steve Smith, 16 points in the first quarter of play. But that one no good. Offensive board again. Traveling ball on Corbin.
He did it. He did it. And Lenny Wilkins is up saying, calm down, guys. That's the one advantage I really like about the Hawks, is I do think that they're a pretty mature basketball team. And we'll see it here. You can see him drag his feet. There's the travel right there. Move both feet before he put the ball down on the ground.
1:42 to go before the break.
Another run from Charlotte. They are not going away so far.
The quick hands of Leitner this time.
My.
Here comes Blaylock. Leitner left side. Blaylock will slow it down. Now Leitner sets the pick. Comes back. 1:20 to go.
Boy, he knows what he wants. He saw a mismatch and called for Steve Smith.
Leitner. Another offensive board. This one from Corbin, but it's off Corbin's hands. Charlotte ball.
I want you to take a look here at Christian Leitner. Watch him dribble it up. He just puts it on the floor, dribbles, somebody pick him up all the way down the paint. Wow. And yet they're only down 6.
Glenn Rice back on the floor as we near the 1-minute mark. J.R. Reed, Leitner gets back. Reed with a jumper and cans it.
He can do that, and that's why they're going to use him at center at times in this game, because he can really shoot the ball from that range.
A 10-2 Charlotte run just before the break. And Blaylock threw this one away. Here comes Wesley. 3-on-2. J.R. Reed. A 2-point game.
Well, they stuck around, and they stuck around until they made a defensive run, and that's what they're doing right now.
On the switch, Mutombo in the post, and Reed fouled him. Away from the ball. Nike halftime report coming up in a moment. Kenny Smith, Chuck Daly, and Ernie Johnson in our studios. Ernie Johnson and Chuck Daly decided not to shave their heads.
Yeah, smart. Kenny Smith did.
And Mutombo goes to the free throw line.
Mutombo had a nice year from the free throw line, but of late, the last 6 or 7 games, he's really struggling from the line.
22.3 left in the first half of play. Blaylock picks up Wesley as he comes across midcourt. Corbin guards Rice. Leitner on J.R. Reed. Pick and roll Wesley. The switch. The pass underneath the ring.
J.R. Reed is giving Charlotte big minutes. Look at this play. That was a flop from a shooter. Now that's tough to do.
A 15-3 run, and we're tied at 54. .3 seconds left.
I think they're going to put a little bit more time on the clock. Yeah, they put .8 now.
Corbin will inbound. Leitner off the mark at the buzzer.
Big run. Big run from Charlotte.
Glenn Rice with 15 first-half points has missed only 1 from the field. The Hornets turn it around. They trail by 12. They close to a tie at the break.
Under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Welcome back to the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. We are at Charlotte Coliseum. First game of the 1998 NBA playoffs in a best-of-5 series. The Atlanta Hawks storm back from a 12-point second-quarter deficit. They come back to tie the Atlanta Hawks at the break, 54-54. Time now for the Home Depot game summary. Blaylock and Smith combined for 28 points, but in the last 20 minutes of the first half, Charlotte 18 of 23 from the field, and off the bench, J.R. Reed provided a big spark, especially in the absence of Matt Geiger.
And he did it in every way. He made jump shots, and that's what they needed him to do. He made a dunk, which is impressive for J.R. Reed, who is not a sky guy. And then this was a huge three-point play.
That was with 2.5 left in the first half. J.R. Reed sank the free throw, and we are tied. Reed with 9 points. Mason rested during that 15-3 run, which made it all the more impressive. And Vlade Divac is going to have to play a lot of minutes tonight because Matt Geiger is on the bench with a hamstring, played without foul trouble in that first half.
Yeah, but if you look at Charlotte in the first half, they shot 68% from the field. And we said it in the first half. Their offense was fine. It was their defense. They solved the Atlanta pick and roll the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game or the first half, and that's why they're back in the game. Atlanta is dominating the offensive boards, and Atlanta are forcing turnovers. That's the only reason they're in the game right now.
Tied at 54. Let's check in with the third member of our commentary team, Brian Burwell.
Thank you, Vern. Both coaches at halftime were in the mood to talk about defense. Lenny Wilkins says that they have to do a better job of stepping out on defense to stop those good looks. And as far as Dave Collins was concerned, he says, we got to get the ball out of Mookie's hands. He's killing us. They're going to try to do a few little tricks on him to try to get the ball out of his hand. Back to you guys.
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was that easy.
It's a nice concept.
Exactly. That's like saying you can't make Vinnie Johnson go right. He goes right all the time, and he still hits you. It's amazing.
Lenny Wilkins, 13 years a player. Part of that as a player coach in his 25th year as a coach. Dave Cowens, of course, in his second year as a head coach here. Also a player coach with the Celtics.
Yeah, I tell you what, I look at the guys on the bench coaching, and I would take them right now. Lenny Wilkins, Dave Cowens, Paul Silas. I mean, that's pretty good. You remember 3 years ago when I was with the Spurs, Dave Cowens wanted to be activated for the playoffs going against Houston, and I thought he should have been. And there's Paul Silas right there. Phil Hubbard's over there.
Got some talent on the bench.
Good boy, that's good.
Here's Bobby Phills with a pass into Glenn Rice. Nice move to his right and gets the ball. And this is the first lead for the Charlotte Hornets since they were up 6-4.
And if you don't think that's important, it is. In the 4 games, Charlotte only led 1 time in the regular season.
Alan Henderson is stripped and a foul called on Anthony Mason.
And this is an area, Vern, where Dave Cowens said he wants to use Glenn Rice a little bit more down on the post. He's a good post player. That's why he's such a great scorer. He can put the ball on the floor. He's a great three-point shooter, and he has a good post game.
It was Bobby Phills called for the foul, not Anthony Mason, and Henderson with something less than an exemplary free throw.
Yeah, I was going to say. You just
the word ugly came to mind, and I thought, well, so's that one.
Yeah. And they're struggling from the free throw line. Atlanta's 5 for 11 from the free throw line. Every point counts in the playoff.
Left side to Bobby Phills. Tyrone Corbin has him. Rice fights through the screen, and Steve Smith battles him in the post.
Boy, I really, really like what Dave Cowens is doing. First, Lenny Wilkins has made a switch. He's putting Steve Smith on Glenn Rice. Tyrone Corbin had Glenn Rice in the first half. Glenn Rice had an effective half. There's a switch. But now Steve Smith is going to have to guard, and there was the foul. And they're going right back to it. I think this is really smart.
Foul called on Smith, his first. They kick it out to Divac with the jumper. Yes.
Yes. That's what Dave Cowens was saying when he shot it. Yes.
Largest lead of the game now for the Charlotte Hornets. They're up 4. Steve Smith had 16 first quarter points, none in the second. Now Smith off the dribble, and the foul called, the hand check foul on Bobby Phills.
Yeah, and it was a foul. I tell you, Steve Smith makes you foul him. He showed that ball. Bobby Phills used his hand. He's a tough guy to guard because of his size.
Phil's third foul. Blaylock now, who had his way with David Wesley in the first half. Now Smith guarded by Rice. Back to Steve Smith. 10 on the shot clock. Double comes from Wesley. Out to Mookie Blaylock for 3 off the mark. Mutombo with the tip. Loose ball foul called on Charlotte. Foul is on Vlade Divac.
So once again, Atlanta keeping the ball alive. Second foul on Vlade Divac.
Non-shooting foul, fresh 24. And Corbin will inbound.
If it wasn't for turnovers and offensive rebounds, I don't know if this game would be close, and it would be Charlotte who would be winning.
Now Blaylock gets the screen on the pick and roll. And a quick steal from Bobby Phills. Misses the shot. Corbin with a rebound. Here's Mookie Blaylock at the other end. Pulls up, takes the 3. Got it.
Oh, that's a tough shot. That is a big turnaround. It's a 5-point turnaround.
Bobby Phills misses the layup. Mookie Blaylock makes them pay. That ends a 19-3 Charlotte run that goes over the second quarter and the third. Mason back to Divac. Bobby Phills for 3. Rebound Blaylock.
Oh my.
Stutter step, takes it in, and he'll go to the line.
Oh my goodness. Here is Mookie Blaylock once again. First the steal, and this is what set up, unfortunately, Atlanta's run. The miss, and then on the other end, Mookie Blaylock nailing the 3. Watch the pump fake. Bang.
Unfortunately, as you watch that, he missed the free throw. And he'll shoot one more. Bobby Phills picks up his fourth foul of the game. And Dave Cowens has to put him down. Del Curry off the bench.
They really need Del Curry to play well. I think he's a pivotal player in this series also. He's struggled with injury all year. They need him to make shots.
Atlanta continues to misfire from the free throw line. They're now 5 of 13 after those 2 misses. Mason on Mutombo. Nope.
Boy, he got there again, though. Even on Mutombo, he can get his shot off.
A 1-point Charlotte lead. 8:55 to go third quarter. Game 1. Game 2 here Saturday night. Alan Henderson, as Divac forces him to take a really awkward shot.
Yeah, as Bill Walton would say, that's a horrible shot right there. That's amazing. Great defense.
How would he say it?
Horrible.
Terrible.
Oh, my.
Nice pass underneath Glenn Rice.
Post again, though. He can get his shot off on Steve Smith.
Here's Smith at the offensive end. Wesley with 8 assists now. And a 3-point margin. Corbin, 2 on the line. Mutombo fights for position. Divac and Mookie Blaylock hit it last. Del Curry. The hands got in the passing lane. Here's Steve Smith, Henderson, Corbin. Wesley gets back. They kick it outside, and Glenn Rice makes the steal. Del Curry for three.
Wow. A fast break to set up a three-point shot. Only in Charlotte does that play work.
The Hornets are 5 of 6 from three-point range.
Well, the NBA playoffs on TBS, brought to you by Dutch Boy Paints. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy. And by GMC, putting you comfortably in command.
Well, usually on a fast break, and I want you to look at Del Curry right here. Usually on a fast break, you're supposed to do the banana cut, but watch Curry. He goes out. Watch him. Forget that. He's going to go for the three-pointer, Vern, and bang, it goes in. And look at here. Dikembe Mutombo. See, there's no stat for this. It should be a change shot, an altered shot. His presence made Mason miss that shot.
Mutombo and his team, though, must be a distant memory since you said, my gosh, they have 49 points with 5 minutes to go in the half.
Yeah, and the difference has been the defense. Charlotte has picked it up.
Miss from Mutombo. Gets the rebound, goes up strong, and will go to the free throw line.
But you know what? That's a good foul, because otherwise he has a dunk. Mutombo is struggling from the free throw line. Put him on the line.
Third foul on Divac.
You can see the effect of Mutombo. But I like the 8 drives. Go and drive at Mutombo. Smart.
Misfire.
So Dave Collins is thinking right now, we didn't allow him to dunk. He missed 1 free throw, so already we're up 1 with that foul.
Corbin and Henderson will rest for Atlanta. Eldridge for Kasner back on the floor. And Christian Laettner.
Lenny Wilkins is looking for offense. That's an offensive substitution.
1 of 2 at the line from Mutombo.
You put in Kasner and Laettner. You're trying to get more points, and they're struggling right now offensively. That swagger we talked about is starting to disappear a little bit.
Glenn Rice. Laettner got
D.
there.
Good D.
Here comes Atlanta running. Mookie Blaylock picked up by Wesley. 7:15 to go, third quarter. Nice drive. Blaylock.
Well, I tell you what, 1 drive, and Dave Collins jumped up and called a 22nd. He wants to correct that. And you know what he's saying? We can't allow him to dominate us again in this half.
Blaylock started off like Quicksilver over David Wesley.
You know, I'm looking at Dave in the huddle, and what's interesting, he's not really talking to the guards. He's talking to their big guys, and he's saying 2 things. You have to help out, and you have to call out the picks. The guard in the first half were complaining that they didn't hear the picks being called.
4 games tonight on the Turner Networks. The Cavs and the Pacers underway from Indianapolis. The Rockets and the Jazz, game 2 from Salt Lake City at 9:30 Eastern on TBS. And then San Antonio goes into Phoenix against the Suns and Coach Danny Ainge. Here's Anthony Mason. 7 to go, third quarter. Wesley with the penetration to Divac. Nice play.
But David Wesley penetrated. That's what they want him to do more. He had a shot and passed it up.
Margin is 5 for Charlotte. Blaylock kicks it to Rick Kasner. Has to alter it. Back to Blaylock for 3. No this time. And Divac pulls down the loose ball. Anthony Mason will bring it up.
And that's the switch also. In this second half, Anthony Mason is playing the point guard. They're going to try to get Mookie Blaylock away from the basketball. Smart move.
Laettner picks up Mason out top of the key. Rice. And he's fouled.
Wow.
It's a 2-point basket.
Boy, Glenn Rice, in the first half when they were struggling, was the only one really scoring. He kept them alive, and now he's keeping it going. Oh.
offensive board. Divac, 2 more.
What a turnaround.
The Hornets trail by 12 late second quarter. They're up by 9 at the 6-minute mark of the third quarter. Divac and Mutombo get tangled up.
And it's going to be on the Dikembe Mutombo offensive foul. And you can see one of the things Lenny Wilkins said is we cannot allow our guys to start complaining. And right now, they're complaining.
5:50 to go, third quarter. Divac and Mutombo. Here's Divac.
And here's a Mutombo foul down low. Watch him at the bottom of your screen. That is a classic flop. He deserves points for that one. And look at the floor being spread, keeping Mutombo out. Watch him point. He wants to keep Mutombo out of the help. He did, and then he gets the dunk. But it was set up by David Wesley's dribble penetration.
Charlotte by 9. Steve Smith, who's been quiet since an explosive first quarter. Rakasner off the dribble, altered the shot. Comes over to Leitner, no.
Charlotte is everywhere. They are playing great deep.
Wesley. Mutombo gets the miss.
Boy, he had made that one.
Oh, the crowd was ready to erupt. Now Del Curry guards from Kastner, comes back outside. 5:06 to go, third quarter. Leitner over Mason. Nope.
Charlotte's defense has completely taken Atlanta out of their offense. You haven't seen any pick and rolls. You haven't seen any post-up plays to Steve Smith.
Mason traveled.
Mason thought he was going to the foul line. Wow.
69-60, 4:40 to go. Third quarter. Here's Smith looking for the shot to come back, and it does.
I tell you what, they said 2 great picks on Glenn Rice. He got no help. Smith gets an open shot.
First basket for Steve Smith since the first quarter. The margin is 7. Rice. Oh, man.
Huh. You know what's really neat to watch is the switch. Glenn Rice and Steve Smith are going at it, and right now it's all Glenn Rice.
Glenn Rice is 10 of 11 from the field. Here's Smith back out to Blaylock. Wesley's there, the pick from Leitner. Now Blaylock dishes back to Leitner. 5 on the shot clock. Wild shot put up. Smith tries to keep it in play, can't.
I tell you what, Dave Collins has to be thrilled to death right now. You watch Charlotte rotate and move. They're playing defense like Atlanta played defense in the first quarter.
Charlotte Hornets have lost 4 regular season games to the Atlanta Hawks. Look at the numbers on the left and how in each category the numbers have declined for Charlotte as opposed to what they've posted against the other teams in the NBA.
And most, or all of those numbers are offensive numbers. The Charlotte Hornets are an offensive team. What Atlanta has done is stop them from playing good offense. Tonight, they're playing good offense, and they're playing great defense. That's why Charlotte's winning the ball game.
Well, they're getting out-rebounded, but they are hitting 65% from the field.
Their turnovers and them allowing Atlanta to get offensive rebounds is the only reason that this is a game right now.
9-point lead. Here's Mason. Smith almost got it. And Steve Smith picks up another foul.
See, this is a problem for Lenny Wilkins right now. He had to switch Steve Smith on Glenn Rice because Glenn Rice had a big first half against Tyrone Corbin. The problem is with Smith guarding Rice, will this hurt Smith's offense? And it has so far in the second half.
Let's get a quick word from Brian Burwell.
Yes, during that last timeout, Paul Silas told Vlade Divac, go after Dikembe Mutombo. He has 3 fouls. Challenge him. They want to try to take it to him, and they're doing it right now.
Yeah, but that's not the way to go at him. bailing out on the shot. He had him, too. I mean, he had a chance to go right at him.
3 of 11 from the field in this quarter for the Atlanta Hawks. Steve Smith, he penetrates, little scoop shot. Smith will go to the free throw line.
It's rare when you see a matchup where you really don't believe either guy can guard the other guy. But again, look at the little screen. Look at Kristen Leitner right here. Rice fights through it. But when you look at these two guys, you're thinking Smith can score on Rice, and Rice can score on Smith. The difference is, so far, Charlotte in the second half has gone more to Rice, and I think that's smart basketball.
3:08 to go, third quarter. B.J. Armstrong off the bench for the second appearance tonight. You were watching his body language at the halftime break. You think he's a little frustrated by not playing.
Yeah, you can see him at halftime. He wants to play. I don't think the regular season bothered him that he didn't play a lot, but right now he wants to be in. He remembers being with Chicago.
B.J. Armstrong wears 3 world champion. Well, he doesn't wear all 3 rings. He has 3.
I would. I'll tell you that.
I know you well. You're not gaudy. Here's Del Curry. LeCasner guards him. Curry puts it up. No. LeCasner with the rebound. 7 points, Charlotte lead. LeCasner works on Curry. Spin move. Dish to Mutombo. Clean block. Divac.
Yeah, I don't know how Vlade Divac got his hand in there, but he did. The no layup zone or rule is in effect for Charlotte, and it's working right there. Oh, good reach.
Mutombo will get a rest. Pig Miller has come on the floor for the first time tonight. And J.R. Reed is back on the floor now as Divac sits down.
This is a key time in the game for Charlotte. That both benches are in. Atlanta's bench has outplayed Charlotte's bench in the 4 games in the regular season.
Foul on Mason. That's his first foul, and Steve Smith back at the free throw line. Well, let's bring you up to date on who is on the floor as you look at Vlade Divac. Leitner and Smith, Pig Miller, Recasner and Blaylock for Atlanta. Anthony Mason, J.R. Reed, Del Curry, B.J. Armstrong, and Glenn Rice for Charlotte.
So it's pretty obvious where Charlotte and Atlanta wants to go with the basketball. Smith and Rice. That hasn't changed all game, really.
8 of 18 from the free throw line tonight. 8 of 18.
Yeah. So when you make the argument that rebounds has kept them in, their free throw shooting is what's keeping them out.
Lead of 6 for the Hornets. 2:30 to go, third quarter. Here's B.J. Armstrong. Curry gets the screen from Mason and takes the jumper.
If he gets going, then Charlotte's in great shape.
An 8-point margin. Blaylock. Big Miller gets 2.
Well, J.R. Reed had to help because Blaylock had a layup. But again, Mookie Blaylock, pick and roll. Atlanta needs to get back to the pick and roll.
Charlotte 32-9 at home this year. Their best home record ever, but 2 of those 9 losses were to Atlanta. Anthony Miller gets his first foul. Atlanta had a foul to give, so we'll inbound from the sidelines.
And as much problem as Charlotte is having with the pick and roll, so is Atlanta, and that started happening towards the end of the second quarter.
B.J. Armstrong. Blaylock guards him. Here's Rice, double team from Leitner. J.R. Reed, first miss tonight for J.R. Reed. He inspired that comeback, the 15-3 run that tied it up at halftime, 54 all.
Yeah, it really was. Charlotte's bench in the first half really played big.
Recasner for 3. That's off the mark. Here comes B.J. Armstrong. Picked up by Blaylock. 1:10 to go, third quarter.
Boy, you think Mookie Blaylock's not a pest? Oh, my
gosh.
Oh, my.
Pickpocket.
He was trapped by one man on that play there. Golly, he was everywhere. But you know, Charlotte has to recognize that and help him out. I mean, look at this. He's on both sides. Wow. That's a one-man trap. That's a terrible feeling.
Foul was on Leitner, meanwhile, and Anthony Mason goes to the free throw line. 5 steals for Blaylock.
And about 20 deflections.
What's the key? Anticipation, quick hands, reflex?
All those.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Toughness, all those combined. I mean, he's a headache to bring the ball up. To me, he reminds me so much of Maurice Cheeks. Who I lost the ball to many times.
6-point lead. Blaylock and Armstrong. Here comes Miller to set the screen. Gets it back to Blaylock. Rakasner. Fall away. Great defense by Curry.
Great defense by B.J. Armstrong. Now, that's the one thing he can really do. He was so underrated in Chicago because you had Pippen and Jordan. B.J. Armstrong fought over the pick and roll. He made Blaylock get the ball up.
Mason and Miller, top of the key. 4 on the shot clock. Quick hands of Miller this time, and a foul in the backcourt. J.R. Reed.
And watch here, Dale Curry sliding his feet late, getting the block shot. Big play. Once again, though, on the other end, Mookie Blaylock's involved with the steal. Oh, wow. It's unbelievable. And if you don't think free throws are mostly mental, you're crazy. Right when the first 2 guys missed those free throws, it became contagious for Atlanta.
Blaylock is 0 for 3 tonight.
They're 9 for 22. Wow.
And this is a team that hit 76% in the regular season. Whoa.
Well, the good thing for Lenny Wilkins, it's just easy for him to point to one of the reasons they're struggling.
Here's Armstrong. Little jumper short. At the buzzer. We've reached the end of 3. The Charlotte Hornets have rolled since midway through the second quarter. The battle will continue between Steve Smith and Glenn Rice. It's Rice and the Hornets who have the edge right now. Welcome back to Game 1 of the 1998 NBA playoffs. We are at Charlotte Coliseum. Vern Lundquist and Doc Rivers, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Charlotte Hornets. And as the playoffs begin tonight, among the 16 teams, the best shooting team, the Jazz, the worst, the team from New Jersey. Bulls lead in rebounds. The Sonics are the worst. The Spurs, the best field goal defensive team. And look who's happy to be in the playoffs.
Wow. I underline that because that's not good when you're bad at defense and shooting.
Well, the Charlotte Hornets do enjoy playing with a lead. Glenn Rice will get a rest. Well deserved. But look at this. The Hornets have lost once this year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
When they led at the end of 3.
Yeah, and they're 27-0 at home when they're going to the fourth quarter with a lead. Wow. B.J. Armstrong defense. This is what he did in Chicago.
Stole the inbound pass from Mutombo, who hears about it from Mookie Blaylock.
Yes.
The lead is 8. Here's Christian Laettner, guarded by J.R. Reed, double from Curry. Smith spots up for 3 and cans it.
You know what? Bobby Fields was in a no-win situation. He had Rakasner and Smith, and he had to choose. He chose the wrong one. Though I think Rakasner would have made it too.
Bills playing with 4 fouls back on the floor. Here's Bills guarded by Steve Smith. Underneath, J.R. Reed.
3 seconds.
3 second violation.
3 seconds. He was under there quite a while. I mean, look at these two guys, Vern. All he's doing there is just trying to keep his balance, trying to make the guy not pass him the basketball. But he did, but at least he made him get it out of his hands.
That was the battle in the third quarter. Now here's Leitner, guarded by J.R. Reed. Tries to force it up, knocked out of bounds. Great defense by Reed.
Yeah, J.R. Reed has great hands. He can't block it once it gets up, but he can get it before it gets up. One of the things I keep thinking about with this lead that Charlotte has is something that Lenny Wilkins said this morning. We're never out of a basketball game. Our team never panics.
They trail by 5 right now. Here's Smith.
Oh, boy, here he goes.
Rice. Yep.
With a great player, it doesn't take but one shot to get him going again, and that three-point shot might have been it.
Steve Smith with 16 first quarter points, none in the second, 5 in the third. Now he's got 5 in the fourth. Devons with Mutombo guarding it. Does not take it all the way. Kicks it outside.
Everybody's in the act offensively. Again, Atlanta, that was great defense.
Back to a 5-point edge. Rice and Smith. Now Mutombo. Double comes from Reed. The hook comes from Mutombo.
You know, that's the first post play from Mutombo all game, really. And I guarantee you that was not playing going into this game. The problem is Smith and Blaylock have been playing so well.
3-point game. Armstrong kicks it to Phils. The foul is on Leitner. That's 4 on Christian Leitner.
Well, here's two guys who played together in Miami. They know each other pretty well, but they can't stop each other.
Take a look at tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. Rebounding edge continues in favor of the Atlanta Hawks, but the free throw margin is extraordinary.
It's amazing. If Atlanta makes their free throws, they're ahead by a pretty big margin. I mean, it's amazing. Charlotte's only taken 14 free throws. Atlanta's taken 21, but Charlotte has made more.
Lenny Wilkins tonight, his 3,316th game as either a player or a coach.
I think he knows a lot about the game. He's been around.
He was reminiscing with us earlier today about his rookie season with the St. Louis Hawks against the Lakers. They'd gotten a bye in the first, and he took a rebound and went for a layup that would give them the victory with almost no time left. Hard foul back then.
Yes.
And he went to the free throw line as a rookie out of Providence and sank both free throws. Hawks win.
The difference was after the hard foul, there was no trash talking. He just went to the line and made it.
Right. No, they just, everybody admired everybody else's flat top.
Yeah, that's true.
And DuckTales. 81-76, back to a 5-point margin. Lenny Wilkins and Bob Pettit, Cliff Hagan. They had some team back then. Some of us remember.
Yeah, you.
Yep. Off the mark, rebound, Mutombo.
Great rebound. He attacked the basketball. And once again, offensive rebound.
Back to a 3-point game. Bobby Phils guarded by Rekasner. That one is touched last by Mutombo.
You watch Mutombo. You see Vlade goes to help on the shot. No one gets a body on Mutombo. Easy dunk. B.J. Armstrong and J.R. Reed gave big minutes. And here is the battle against Smith and Rice. If he catches it that deep, you're in trouble. You can see Steve Smith. He knew it.
Anthony Mason and David Wesley back on the floor now for Charlotte. Bobby Phils gets the screen from Devons. Here's Wesley with the jumper. No.
Never caught it.
Mutombo.
Never had it in his hands.
14 rebounds for Dikembe Mutombo tonight. 3-point margin. Rekasner has it. Rice guards Smith. Oh, goodness sakes.
Oh, my. That is a tough shot. Everybody in the league, but about 4 people, that's a terrible shot. But Smith is not one of them. He can make it.
Well, and the guy who's guarding him is one of the others.
Yes, exactly.
1-point game. Mason. Wesley. Back to Anthony Mason. About 14 moves, and then Mutombo never lost his presence.
Well, you know what? You can make all the moves you want to a Mutombo. He's just waiting for you to shoot the ball. And once you shoot it, he's going to block it.
A chance for Atlanta to grab the lead back for the first time since late second quarter. Rice and Smith continue to battle.
Boy, they're going at it.
Blaylock continues to keep his dribble alive. Now gets it in the hands of Smith again.
Oh, my. Here he goes. And you can feel the energy being drained out of this building right now. Lenny Wilkins said it. Our team is never out of a basketball game.
Rice at the other end.
This is Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins. Unbelievable.
Alley-oop, Leitner, no. And he's unhappy with the quality of the pass. Steve Smith fouls Wesley.
I mean, Smith and Rice, this is unbelievable what these two guys are doing. And they're not making or taking very easy shots. This is a shot at the buzzer here. Wow. And look at this. You think that's difficult? I'm going to shoot this one over Mutombo. Oh, my.
Time has been called with 7:05 remaining in regulation. The battle will continue. Doubleheader tonight on TBS. Game 2 coming up as soon as this one is completed. Game 1 between the Houston Rockets and the Utah Jazz. Remember last year? John Stockton will never forget it. This is in Game 6.
I'll never forget that he jumped that high. Wow.
They play Game 1 from the Delta Center in Salt Lake coming up. This one had some intimations of being a blowout in the first quarter. Look what kind of a game we've had.
Yeah, it really had. You thought early on the way Atlanta came out that Charlotte was in trouble, but they kept close. And then they made their run, and you start thinking, well, Atlanta's out of this game, but Lenny Wilkins said his team is never out of a game.
Can Steve Smith and Glenn Rice keep this up?
Well, you know Steve Smith will still go at it. The question is, will Glenn Rice?
David Wesley guarded by Blaylock, looks for Phils. Rick Kasner picks him up. Here comes Leitner with the double team. They get it to Divac, up and under, and look who's there.
Again, why pump fake? He's not going to jump. He's going to wait for you to let the ball go, and then he'll block your shot. He never left the floor.
His third block tonight. Here's Mutombo offensively now, guarded by Divac. They run another play for him. He had the jump hook a while ago. Traveled. Prior to the turnover, watch the defense.
Yeah, but watch Mutombo. He stays down. He stays down. Come on, try it. Bang. He'll block your shot. He can get up and down so quickly with that size. That's why he's a good shot blocker.
Phils wants it, gets it. Mutombo's there.
Boy, he didn't dare.
Now the double from Leitner. They kick it over. Wesley off the dribble, takes the runner, got it.
Big shot, but set up by the Bobby Fields post up. Dave Collins said they wanted to force double teams.
Lead back to 3 at the 6-minute mark. They go back to Mutombo. Here's Smith cutting. Anthony Mason has him defensively now. And the miss from Steve Smith into the hands of Mason.
Glenn Rice.
Mason with an offensive board off the Wesley miss. Over and back, threw it away.
They're going to call a deflection.
David Jones.
Deflection.
David Jones was. Nope. I thought he was going to tell Jack Nees that there was a deflection.
I don't think it was. I think it's over and back. We'll take a look here. No, that's just a bad pass. Good call, official.
Dave Cowan's obviously in disagreement. 5:30 to go, regulation play.
Well, Dave Cowan's just setting up the next call. He believes if he can argue enough on this one, the next close one he might get.
Blaylock takes the jumper for 3, in and out. Rice with the rebound.
Well, this is what I don't understand from both teams. Steve Smith, Glenn Rice is on fire. Neither one have touched the ball the last 4 times down the court.
Mason and Leitner do battle left side. Divac. Yes.
The difference is Charlotte has made 2 of those. Atlanta has not made 1.
Vlade Divac. He kept the beard, shaved the head. Cans one. Victory, and this is only their 7th home game in the playoffs since they became a franchise in the league, occurred in '95 against the Bulls. Look at that starting lineup.
Pretty interesting, huh?
Johnson, Mourning, Bogues, and Hawkins have been dispersed. Curry, the only player still on the team. And tonight, Steve Smith, Glenn Rice.
It's been an unbelievable show by both guys, and it really heated up in the second half when they had to guard each other. I think they're both having a difficult time playing defense on each other. And look at Steve Smith. Turn around, Jay. They both make difficult shots.
4:56 remaining in regulation, and the Hornets now have scored the last 6. Mookie Blaylock, Christian Leitner, Rick Kasner, Mutombo, and Steve Smith. There's Smith, tough shot. Whoa, wow.
And again, we just talked about it. Why didn't you keep going to him? Lenny Wilkins called that timeout, and he told him, guys, give the ball to Steve Smith.
Margin is 3. You were reminiscing during the break about your days in Atlanta against the Boston Celtics.
Well, that Larry Bird Dominique series, the mistake I made in that game was I didn't go to Dominique 3 times, and that was a huge mistake. Larry Bird got it every time. Celtics win. Both timeouts, though, both guys come out and get the ball the first time out of the timeout. That is not a coincidence.
Glenn Rice, 14 of 16 tonight. 29 points. And he comes out to guard Steve Smith. Under 4 to go. The runner from Smith.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, gosh.
Wow. And they're going to call it on the ground before he got the shot up. But, wow, these 2 guys are going at it. I would have loved to set in on a Miami practice because this is a great show. Oh, my.
Basket waved off, and the lead stays at 5 for Charlotte. Here's Smith. And Rice picks up the foul.
You're waiting for one of them to pass out or fall out. This is like a boxing match. You're waiting for Cosell to say, down goes Frazier.
No rope-a-dope here, huh?
Yes.
Look at head-to-head, neither man has missed when they've been guarding each other tonight.
Well, it's the point I said. It's a rare matchup where you look at it and neither one can stop the other. The key for both teams is to get them the ball.
And Smith has it again. Pick and roll with Mutombo. Now the switch, Divac.
Oh, boy. This is not
This could be really ugly. Or, on the other hand,
good deep.
3:28 to go in regulation.
And that's a big, big stop. That possession from Atlanta took almost a minute, and they didn't score.
Rice tries to get into the post. Here's Mason. And Mutombo. Too strong.
Oh, my. He got there, but he was worried about Mutombo.
Blaylock guarded by Bobby Phills. Divac hustles back on Mutombo. Under 3 to go. Smith goes by Divac. Runner, no.
Well, I tell you what, twice.
Phills, Wesley, Blaylock back. Jump ball.
My goodness. Oh, what great defense. David Wesley should have kept going. Right when he came to a jump stop, he put himself in trouble. Watch this. If he keeps going, he at least gets a foul out of this. Right when he stops, it's over. He's in trouble, and no one to pass to. Vlade Divac, the last 2 times, has switched out on Steve Smith and forced him into tough shots. I tell you what, they've gotten everything they wanted to get out of Vlade Divac, and he's a free agent too after this season.
He and Geiger both free agents. Obvious speculation this team will not be able to keep them both. Tip goes to Charlotte. Divac, no. Rice gets it. Rice cans it.
Oh, my goodness. If you don't pass me the ball, I'll go get the rebound and I'll shoot it myself. That's what Glenn Rice just did. This is unbelievable. Look at Glenn Rice just stay in the play. It was no doubt he was going to shoot it.
It's been something, hasn't it? Atlanta Hawks were down 6 at the start of the 4th quarter, fought back and claimed a lead of 1. But since then, Charlotte has gone on a 10-2 run. That's in the last 5 minutes. Steve Smith really anxious to get back on the floor.
Boy, he really is. We've watched him walking around, clapping his hands. He's upset, one, that he's not getting shots right now that he wants, and he's upset that Glenn Rice is having a big second half. And you think Mutombo is not effective? Just watch this play. Mace gets exactly where he wants to get, but he knows Mutombo's lurking, and that's why he missed that shot.
Charlotte's lead is 7. 2:19 to go in regulation play. Game 2 here on Saturday night.
Boy, you know, this is a strange series because going into this, the visiting team was the clear favorite.
Blaylock picked up by Wesley. Steve Smith picked up by Glenn Rice. Here's Rakasner. Mookie Blaylock, catch and shoot, air ball.
See, that's not the type of shot that Blaylock makes. That's a tough shot for him. Rakasner or Smith, yes. Blaylock, no, on that type of three-pointer.
Seems so long ago. Atlanta 5 for 7. Its first 3-point shots, 2 for 13 since then.
No way. Oh, I was going to say, there's no way he can make that shot. What happened to the pick and roll from Atlanta?
Smith off the screen.
He can. Great screen. And whoever set the pick, Glenn Rice had no idea it was coming.
13 fourth-quarter points for Steve Smith. 34 in the game. The margin is 4.
Atlanta needs to stop here.
Rice guarded by Rakasner now. There's the switch to Henderson. Into the hands of Mason. And Rice. Offensive board and a foul.
Big rebound. But that rebound was caused by Glenn Rice. The entire Hawk team was paying attention to his shot instead of rebounding. I mean, watch this. When Glenn Rice goes up, look at all the Hawks. Everyone is looking up at the shot. They forget about the rebound because they thought it was going in.
Foul on Smith, his 5th. Some picks are legal, some are not. Watch this screen from Alan Henderson.
Well, this is what you call the old move and pick. But again, no one called the pick for Glenn Rice, and that gave Steve Smith a shot. You know, you don't score this many points without great picks being set. And look at this, but watch Glenn Rice use it. He goes up, under, and back around to get the basketball, and then gets another one. Wow.
And let's check in with Brian Burwell.
All right, watch for Atlanta to try to trap to make sure that Glenn Rice does not get his hands on the ball.
Oh, boy, I tell you what, that'd be pretty smart, but I don't know how they're going to do it.
Divac has it.
Oh, he was open.
Yep. Here's Phils and Mookie Blaylock, but he can't keep content. Wesley.
Oh, my. The first time this game, Mookie Blaylock has been burned by helping.
Charlotte tonight 6 of 8 on three-point plays. Devon's limping, got kicked in the knee as he comes back down on defense.
No time to limp.
Smith. Tipped. Loose ball.
First time, watch Mookie Blaylock come. Didn't come up with the ball. His man gets the wide open three-point shot. Sometimes when you leave, you get burned. It happened that time.
Steve Smith, the only Atlanta Hawk to score in the last 8 minutes. Here's Rakasner. Wesley, Bobby Phils.
Oh, that's it. That's the ball game. You know what? Charlotte believes now that they can beat the Atlanta Hawks.
%83% of the teams that have won game 1 since the league went back to a best-of-5 format 15 years ago have gone on to win the series.
Well, I don't know if Charlotte will win this series or not. I do know they needed game 1. Just like Brian Burwell said in the opening, and David Wesley said, they had to have it. I think they needed it, and they got it.
Atlanta reclaimed the lead by 1 with 7:20 to go. They have been outscored 15-5 since then. Game 1, the Charlotte Hornets. Their first victory this season over the Atlanta Hawks, and it comes in the first game of the '98 playoffs.
Well, Lenny Wilkins said this is a new season. You know, that 4-0 does not matter. This is a new season.
And Steve Smith ends his extraordinary confrontation with Glenn Rice tonight as he picks up his 6th foul.
Well, the funny thing is the crowd is clapping because they know a great effort when they see one. What a duel.
There's a rare mistake for Glenn Rice. Between the two, Rice and Smith, 68 points tonight.
My goodness. What a battle. I mean, when I played in the Boston series with Dominique and Bird, I didn't see it because I was playing it. Sitting here watching a duel like this is amazing.
A 10-point lead. Game 2 Saturday night.
My.
The Charlotte Hornets had a huge run at the end of the first half. They came from 12 down to tie it up at the break 54-54. They led by 6, only to fall behind in the 4th quarter. But they win going away and wind up with a 10-point margin of victory in game 1 of the best-of-5 series.
Great win, fellas. Amazing, amazing game. That you can lose 4 times to a team and win.
Let's check in with Brian Burwell.
All right. In a duel that is going to be one of the greats of all time between you and Steve Smith, talk about, you guys were on fire.
Yeah, you know, me and Steve are very competitive. We try and come out and give our team what we can to get that added edge. And, you know, he really worked hard tonight, and I worked hard. And I tried to come out and do whatever I could to get our team a victory.
Okay. There was a time when they stopped running plays for you there in the 4th quarter, but then they came right back to you. Did you say something?
Well, one of the things I tried to do is I realized that we had other things going at that time. And then when Atlanta made a little run, I said, okay, fellas, it's time to get me back involved. And they understand that, and they did a great job in doing so.
This had to be a huge win for you guys in terms of psychology, right?
It was a huge win for us. We realized all along that we could beat this team. We just had to go out and play up to our capabilities, and tonight we did that.
All right, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Back to Vern.
All right, Brian, how special was this one? Glenn Rice, 34 points. Steve Smith, 35 points. We'll be right back.
The NBA playoffs on TBS, brought to you by Keystone Light, America's never bitter beer. By the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. By your local AutoZone stores. For the right parts at the right price, look no further than AutoZone. And by Nike.
From the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, the